Good morning and happy new year from SDG Replays. Coming to you this morning from a cloudy, rainy North Carolina morning, but we're so thankful to be into a new year, to see 2020 behind us. I hope everyone had a great New Year's Eve. Hope most of you weren't up too late. I might have few in number seeing this morning. But if you come along, I hope you'll join me. Excited to be continuing in the Dumpster Fire Invitational that I've been playing over the last several weeks. Started out with 16 teams from the bottom of the 1979 Major League Baseball season. Starting off best of 5 series until we got into the semifinals that then turned into best of 7 series. We are now into the finals, which find a very interesting matchup in teams that I did not expect to make it this far, because the New York Mets are the 14th seeded team in this tournament, facing the 12th seeded Seattle Mariners. We are now in game 2 of this series. The Mariners taking game number 1. Let's go into the game itself, and let me back us up. Excuse me. Let me back us up to the first game. The first game we saw a tightly contested game that ended in a 3-2 Mariners win, with I said, a very tightly contested game that saw Floyd Bannister be the MVP and the winning pitcher for the Seattle Mariners. Bob Knepper taking the loss and a save to Raleigh. Very tightly contested game, 3-2. The 2 errors by the Giants probably sealing the deal for the Mariners taking game 1. We are in Seattle, in the Kingdome in Seattle, playing today's game as well. It's a best of 7 series that the Mariners are leading 1-0. Pete Falcone will be pitching for the Mets, as we're going to go ahead and set our lineups here. Again, Bannister came in and pitched in relief, and now he's going to be starting today. That's an interesting aspect of this game. Playing out in this tournament is how well Bannister will be doing today on coming in after a brief stint in yesterday's game. I know you purists out there will probably have a problem with Bannister pitching. I'm not a purist. So we're going to go into the game. We got the nice little ditty playing as we see the lineups for each team. As we step into the Kingdome in Seattle. Pitching again is Floyd Bannister. He's 4-0 during this tournament. He's pitched 30 and a half innings, allowing 20 hits, a home run, and 7 runs. He's got a 1.76 ERA during this tournament, which is outstanding. Let me add something here where I'll seem like I'm involved in this game a little bit. Just put me over here in foul territory and get back into the game. Floyd Bannister again pitching for the Mariners with a great ERA during this tournament. Starting lineup for the Mets will be leading off and in center field, Lee Mazzilli. Playing at shortstop, batting second, Tim Foley. In the third spot in left field, Steve Henderson. In the cleanup spot, playing first base, Willie Montanez. Playing catcher, batting fifth, I can't remember if that's Jim or Joe, Stearns. Batting in the sixth spot, third base, Richie Hebner. Batting in the seventh spot, right fielder, Joel Youngblood. Batting in the eighth spot, playing second base, is Flynn. I believe that's Doug Flynn. And your pitcher for the Mets, Pete Falcone. Lee Mazzilli steps up to the plate for the Mets as Floyd Bannister is through with his warm-up tosses. As we get into this game, Mazzilli steps in, batting .267 for this tournament with 8 RBIs. During the season, the 79 season, he batted .303 with 15 home runs. Bannister toes the rubber, brings the pitch to Mazzilli. And he strikes out Mazzilli. Mazzilli goes down swinging for the first out of this game number 2.
1 out, base is empty.
That'll bring Tim Foley to the plate. Foley batting .233 with 4 RBIs. As Bannister checks his signals from Cox, shakes his head in agreement, brings the pitch. Foley. He goes down swinging, 2 up, 2 down, 2 Ks for Floyd Bannister, who is willing and dealing to start this game off here in Seattle.
2 outs, base is empty.
That'll bring Steve Henderson to the plate. Henderson batting .389 with 7 RBIs. Henderson has a good eye. He's drawn 9 walks during this tournament. Here's the pitch from Bannister. Henderson digging in. And he strikes him out, and Bannister starts out hot and strikes out the side for the Mets as we go to the bottom of the first.
Bottom of the first.
Pete Falcone steps to the plate. He's 1-0 during this tournament with 21 inning pitch with a .86 ERA and a .81 WHIP. So Falcone has pitched well in his appearances. The lineup for the Seattle Mariners, leading off and at second base, Julio Cruz. Batting second in center field, Rupert Jones. Batting third at first base, Bruce Bochy. Batting fourth in right field, Leon Roberts. Batting in the fifth spot at third base, Dan Meyer. Batting sixth in left field, Tom Paciorek. Batting seventh, catching, Larry Cox. Batting in the eighth spot at shortstop, Mario Mendoza. And batting in the ninth spot, pitcher Floyd Bannister. So stepping to the plate, Julio Cruz. Cruz during this tournament is batting .288 with 1 RBI. As Pete Falcone toes the rubber, hoping to mimic Bannister's inning, brings the pitch to Cruz. And he does not, as Cruz gets a leadoff single that drops in front of Mazzilli in center field. So with no outs, Cruz is on first. Cruz takes a short lead as Rupert Jones digs in. Jones batting .275 with 10 RBIs, 5 home runs. It's Pete Falcone looking over at Cruz, holding Cruz to the bag. Infield and double play depth as Falcone brings the pitch. Rupert Jones, short fly to center field. Mazzilli underneath it easily will hold Cruz on first for one out. One out. Runner on first as Bruce Bochy steps to the plate. Falcone toeing the rubber again. Here's the pitch from Falcone. And he singles to left field as it drops in front of Henderson. The hit in left field will hold Cruz at second. But with one out, we have runners on first and second as the Mariners are swinging the bat well here in the bottom of the first. That'll bring Leon Roberts to the plate. Roberts batting .241 with 2 RBIs. It's Falcone looking to pitch himself out of this little tough jam he's got into in the first. Brings the pitch. It's hit to Hebner at third. Over to second. Possible double play. We'll check the pivot on Flynn. And the batter is doubled up at first, so the double play gets Falcone out of the inning. 2 hits. 2 left on. Our score still is 0-0 as we go to the top of the second. Bannister struck out the side in the first inning as Willie Montanez steps to the plate. Montanez batting .298 with 14 RBIs and 3 home runs during this tournament. Here's the pitch from Bannister. Montanez digging in. And he'll give Montanez a free pass as he walks Montanez. Montanez standing on first with no outs. As John Stern steps to the plate, Montanez takes a slight lead. Infield in halfway. Here's the pitch from Bannister. Stearns digging in. And he strikes him out. That'll be his 4th strikeout already, and we're into the second inning. Bannister pitching well. 1 out. Montanez on first as Richie Hebner steps to the plate. Hebner batting .341 with 3 RBIs. Hebner steps in, digs in as Bannister brings the pitch. And he strikes him out. Bannister is on his game today, his 5th strikeout. As Joel Youngblood steps in. Youngblood struggling in this tournament, batting .196 with 5 RBIs. As Montanez takes a slight lead off first as the pitch comes to Youngblood. It's a double to left field. It gets in behind Pasoric. Third base coach, will he send Montanez? This could be our first score of the game, and he does. Lead runner is safe. Montanez scores with the double from Youngblood. And we see our first run of the game as the Mets come across first. Floyd Bannister toes the rubber, takes a deep breath, composing himself after allowing the first hit of the game and the first run of the game. Doug Flynn stepping in for the Mets, batting .240 with 5 RBIs. Here's a pitch from Bannister. It's a single to left field. Youngblood moving to third and all the way home. So that's now 2 runs across as Flynn singles home Youngblood.
2 outs, men on first.
That'll bring the pitcher, Pete Falcone, to the plate. Falcone during the season batted 173 in his 52 plate appearances. Here's the pitch from Bannister to Falcone, his counterpart. Ground ball to third. Meyer up with it over to first for the 5-3 putout to end the inning, but not before 2 runs come across on 2 hits. 1 left on. The Mets lead 2-0.
Bottom of the second.
So we go to the bottom of the second. Dan Meyer steps to the plate. Meyer batting .340 with 10 RBIs on 3 home runs and 18 hits. Pete Falcone goes to the belt. Here's the pitch to Meyer. Hit to first, Montanez. Possible error on Montanez. It's hit sharply. And it is an error off Montanez's glove into right field. Allows Meyer safely on at first with the E3. That'll put the infield in double play depth as Tom Paciorek steps to the plate. Paciorek hitting well during his tournament, batting .409 with 5 RBIs on 18 hits. Paciorek digging in. Meyer taking the short lead. Infield double play depth as Falcone delivers. And he will hit Paciorek as Paciorek dips the shoulder in and takes one for the team. Meyer moves down to second. No outs. We have runners on first and second for the Mariners. That will bring Larry Cox to the plate, batting .180 during this tournament, but with 11 RBIs. So when he's got hits, he's taken advantage of the opportunities. Cox digs in. Falcone delivers. And he strikes Cox out. Cox takes the walk of shame back to the dugout as Mario Mendoza steps to the plate. Mendoza batting .146 with 2 RBIs during this tournament. Here's the pitch to Mendoza. Hit sharply to Foley, but it's off his glove. Hit so sharply it is into left field. And we have the bases loaded, and Floyd Bannister comes to the plate. Now let's have Bannister swing away. I don't trust his bunting. Here's the pitch to Bannister from his counterpart. Falcone delivers. Bannister pops out to second base. Runners stay. 2 outs. As Julio Cruz steps to the plate. Cruz singled his last time up. Falcone looking to pitch himself out of this jam. Bases loaded here in the bottom of the second with the Mets leading 2-0. Falcone checking the runners. Brings the pitch. It's a single to left field. It will score Meyer and Paciorek. So we have a tie game now, 2-2, with 2 men on, second and third, with 2 outs. And our game now tied 2-2 as Rupert Jones now steps to the plate. Jones flew out to center field in his first plate appearance. As Falcone taking a deep breath as Stearns gives him the signal, telling him to calm down. Pitch yourself out of this. As Falcone toes the rubber, Rupert Jones digs in. Here's the pitch. It's hit to second. Over to first for the 4-3 putout to end the inning.
2 runs, 2 hits, 1 error.
but not after 2 runs come across on 2 hits and an error with 2 men left on. Our score's tied 2-2 as we go to the top of the third. And our leadoff hitter, Lee Mazzilli, coming to the plate. He struck out his first time up. Bannister, looking to get back in that rhythm that he started with in the first, brings the pitch to Mazzilli. Mazzilli hits it well. It gets to the wall in center field for a leadoff double as Jones tracks it down, tosses it back in. Mazzilli standing safely on second base. That'll bring Tim Foley to the plate. Foley struck out his first plate appearance as Mazzilli, standing on second, takes a short lead as Bannister brings the pitch. Short fly to center field. Jones underneath it for out number 1. Mazzilli will hold on second.
1 out, man on second.
As Steve Henderson comes to the plate. Henderson also struck out his first time up. He digs in. Bannister brings the pitch. It's hit sharply to Mendoza at short. Over to first for the 6-3 putout. Mazzilli holding on second. That'll bring Willie Montanez to the plate. Montanez, in his first plate appearance, took a base on balls. As the infield is back, here's the pitch from Bannister. It's an infield single as Montanez beats out the throw from third. Mazzilli moves over to third base, so with 2 outs, we have runners on the corners as John Stern steps to the plate. We do have a check on the base action check on Bannister. The pitch in the dirt is blocked. No advance. As Cox does a good job behind the plate, keeping the ball in front of him and the runners on the corners. John Stearns struck out his first time up. He steps in. Bannister delivers. And he strikes him out as Stearns goes back, and that'll be the 6th strikeout for Bannister in this game through the top of the third.
Bottom of the third.
Go to the bottom of the third. Our game's still tied 2-2 as Bruce Bochy steps in for the Mariners. He singled his first time up. As Pete Falcone toes the rubber, brings the pitch. It's a hit into left field. It's a line drive towards the gap in the outfield. Can Henderson get to it? He does as he gets it off the shoe tops for out number 1 as he robs Bochy of a double. That'll bring Leon Roberts to the plate. Roberts grounded into a double play his first time up. Falcone giving a nod of encouragement to Henderson in the left field after the great catch. Takes this call from Stearns, shakes his head, delivers the pitch. Roberts digging in. It's going to be a rare play roll. It's a dribbler to the mound. Falcone getting to it. Can Roberts beat it out? He does not, as Falcone gets him by a step as he whips it over to first for the 1-3 putout. Great play on the mound by Falcone. 2 outs as Dan Meyer steps to the plate. He reached on an error his first time up. Here's the pitch from Falcone. It's a fly out. It's a fly into center field as Mazzilli settles underneath it for out number 3. We go to the 4th. We go to the 4th with our game still tied 2-2 as Richie Hebner steps to the plate for the Mets. He struck out his first time up. Bannister looking to get back in the rhythm. So far he struck out 6, allowing 4 hits and 2 runs. Here's the pitch from Bannister. Hebner digging in. Hits it sharply to Mendoza at second. Over to first for the at short, for the 6-3 put out. Mendoza making the great play for the first out as Joel Youngblood steps in. He doubled and drove in a run his first time up. So we're 1 out, no one on as Bannister brings the pitch to Youngblood. It's a line drive single. Possible error on Roberts in right field. And it is. It allows Youngblood to get to second. So we have an E9 that allows Youngblood to have the single and is now on second. So with 1 out, Youngblood finds himself on second as Doug Flynn steps in. Flynn singled and drove in a run his first time up. Here's the pitch to Flynn as Youngblood takes a short lead. Hit sharply to Meyer at third. Over to first for the 5-3 put out. And out number 2, Youngblood held on second.
2 outs, man on second.
As Falcone steps to the plate. 2 outs. Falcone will swing away. Here's the pitch from Bannister. Falcone stepping in. He hits it to second. Cruz up with it. Over to first for the 4-3 put out and the out 3. So 1 hit and an error with 1 man left on. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Tied 2-2. They'll bring Tom Paciorek to the plate. Paciorek took one for the team his first time up as he was hit by Falcone. Paciorek digging in. As Falcone brings a pitch. And he strikes out Paciorek. Paciorek takes the walk back to the dugout as Larry Cox steps to the plate. Cox struck out his first time up. Again, struggling from a percentage standpoint, but driving in a lot of runs with his 11 RBIs. Won't have that opportunity now with the bases emptied. Falcone brings it to Cox. And he gets Cox on the big bender as the curveball gets Cox swinging. So with 2 outs, no one on, Mario Mendoza steps to the plate. Mendoza singled his last time up. Here's the pitch from Falcone. Sits sharply to Hebner at third. Hebner up with it. Over to first for the 5-3 put out. That will end the 4th. As we go to the 5th, still tied 2-2. As leadoff hitter Mazzilli steps back to the plate. He's 1 for 2 with a double. Doubled his last time up. As Bannister takes a deep breath, toes the rubber, brings the pitch to Mazzilli. And it is a well-hit ball. It is hit hard. It is hit high. It is hit deep. And it is out of here as Mazzilli has took one into the seats for a leadoff home run here in the top of the 5th. over the outfield wall.
No outs, base is empty.
So the Mets now lead 3-2 on the Lee Mazzilli home run as Foley steps to the plate. Here's the pitch. And he'll give Foley a free pass. A little shook up after that home run. Bannister walks Foley.
No outs, man on first.
Cox looks at his pitchers, tells him to calm down. Let's get these runners. Forget about the home run. As Henderson steps in, 0 for 2 for the day. Grounded out to short his last time up. As the pitch comes from Bannister, Henderson digs in, takes a cut, lines it to second base. Cruz stabs it out of the air for out number 1. Foley remains on first.
1 out, man on first.
As Willie Montanez steps to the plate. Montanez singled his last time up and walked in his first plate appearance. So he's been on both times today, as the infield is at double play depth halfway. Foley takes a short lead as Bannister brings the pitch. It's hit well into center field. Jones underneath it, though, for out number 2.
2 outs, man on first.
And Foley's still on first. As John Stearns steps in. Stearns is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts in today's game. Bannister to Stearns. It's a ground out, too short, over to first
1 run
for the 6-3 put out. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 left on. As we go to the bottom of the 5th, the Mets lead 3-2 on the Lee Mazzilli home run. Floyd Bannister stepping to the plate. And I think I will to see if Bannister can lay down a bunt for a single, since he's not used to swinging the bat. He's just going to try to lay down a bunt.
He's going to lay down a bunt.
Don't expect him to get on, but he does not. He pops it out to third base. Easy play by Hebner for out number 1.
Base is empty.
Ended the way I expected as Julio Cruz steps to the plate. He's 2 for 2 today with 2 singles, and he's driven in 2 runs. Here's the pitch to Cruz. Falcone delivering. Another rare play possibility. Again, it's a dribbler to the mound. The pitcher, Falcone, being challenged again. Can he get Cruz, who runs well? He cannot. Cruz beats out the play by a half step from Falcone as he's on with a leadoff single.
1 out, man on first.
Cruz with good speed beat that out easily. As Cruz on first, Rupert Jones steps in. Jones grounded out to second, his second time up. He's 0 for 2. Jones digging in. Falcone delivers. It's hit to Flynn at second. Over to first. Over to second to first
Play turn today.
for the 4-6-3 double play.
1 hit and none left on.
And that'll end the 5th as we go to the 6th. Mets leading 3-2 as Richie Hebner steps to the plate. Hebner 0 for 2 for today. Batting .326 though for this tournament as Bannister brings the pitch. It's hit to Cruz at second. Over to first for the 4-3 put out. Out number 1. Joel Youngblood steps in, hitting well today, 2 for 2 with an RBI. Youngblood swings the bat at the pitch. And he hits it well. He hits it hard. He hits it deep. And it is gone. Youngblood with the home run And our score is now Mets 4, Mariners 2. This Bannister trying to shake off the gopher balls, the homer balls, the meatballs, whatever you want to call them, as Doug Flynn steps in. Flynn grounded out to third his last time up. He did single his first plate appearance, driving in a run. Base is now empty after the home run. Here's the pitch to Flynn. Hit sharply to Mendoza. It's short. Possible error on Mendoza as it is hit well and it is hit hard. But he makes a nice backhanded stab over to first with a 6-3 putout. Mendoza with the great play, out number 2. And that'll bring Falcone to the plate. Bannister looks at his counterpart, brings the pitch to Pete. Pete hits it sharply to first. Botsky scoops it up, steps on the bag for out number 3. As we go to the bottom of the 6th, Mets up 4-2. And Bruce Botsky stepping to the plate. He's 1 for 2 with a single. Flew out to left field his last time up. As Falcone, enjoying the two-run lead, brings the pitch. It's a deep fly ball to right field. Youngblood back to the warning track, settles underneath it for out number 1. As Leon Roberts steps to the plate, Roberts 0 for 2 for today. Falcone, settling in, brings the pitch. This flew into center field. Mazzilli ranging underneath it for out number 2. Which brings Dan Meyer to the plate. He's hitless for today, but did reach on an error his first time up. As the pitch comes from Falcone. Falcone feeling well. It's hit sharply to Flynn at second. Over to first for the 4-3 putout. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the 7th with the Mets leading 4-2. And this is probably going to be Bannister's last inning to pitch. Let's see if we can get him through it as the leadoff hitter Mazzilli comes up, who hit a home run his last time up. Mazzilli steps into the batter's box. Bannister brings the pitch. It's a line drive single to Roberts in right field. Possible error check on Roberts. Does it get by Roberts? It does not. He keeps it in front of him and keeps Mazzilli on first. And that was a good roll for Roberts, as his error is a 24. I thought for sure it was going to be an error by Roberts, but he makes the play, keeping Mazzilli on first. Bannister is now into his B column, just hoping to get him out of this inning. May not, as Foley steps in. It's a double to left field as Pasoric gets it off the left field wall, throws it quickly in. But is it quick enough as Mazzilli is rounding third? Third base coach waves him in. And the score is now 5-2. And I think we've seen the last of Floyd Bannister.
No outs, man on second.
As he is going to be yanked. Whew. I don't like this bullpen for the Mariners, but it is what it got. As Byron McLaughlin will step in. He's 0 for 1 during this tournament, but he does have 4 saves with a 3.38 ERA, but a .88 whip. So he's pitched fairly well. As Henderson steps in, Foley is on second. Mets leading 5-2 here in the top of the 7th. And it is hit hard. It is hit deep. It's going back to the track. And it is a home run by Henderson, who takes McLaughlin's pitch and puts it into the seats. And this game is getting out of hand really quick as the Mets go up 7-2.
No outs, base is empty.
As McLaughlin comes in and offers up a big watermelon, grapefruit, whatever you want to call it, but it was made into the proverbial fruit salad. As Willie Montanez steps in, bases now clean with no outs. Mets leading 7-2 as 3 runs have come across here in the top of the 7th. McLaughlin with the pitch to Montanez. So line out to center field as Jones settles underneath it for out number 1.
1 out, base is empty.
As John Stearns steps to the plate, Stearns is hitless on the day, striking out twice and grounding out to short his last time up. McLaughlin with the pitch. It's another ballpark effect. Stearns has hit it well. He's hit it hard. He's hit it deep. And it is gone as another home run is hit here in the 7th. And it's now 8-2 Mets as they are swinging the bat with ill intention here
Base is empty.
in the 7th. McLaughlin with a stunned look on his face as Richie Hebner steps in. Hebner's also hitless on the day, but that didn't seem to matter for Stearns as he put it over the wall for a 4-run 7th inning. Here's the pitch to Hebner. Fly out to left field as Pasoric ranges under it for out number 2.
Base is empty.
That'll bring Joel Youngblood to the plate. Youngblood swinging the bat well with a double, a single, and a home run. If he could get a triple, he would hit for the cycle. Here's the pitch to Youngblood. And he lifts it into left field. Pasoric ranging underneath it for out number 3.
Left on.
But not after 4 runs come across, as 2 home runs were hit in the 7th. For an 8-2 Mets lead as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Take me out to the ball game plays as the crowd in Seattle is getting restless as they're seeing this series to be possibly tied at 1-1 after this game. And Tom Pasoric stepping in to the batter's box as Falcone looks to deliver. Here's the pitch. And he gives Pasoric a free pass, base on balls.
No outs, man on first.
So trailing 8-2, Mariners are going to look to try to get some things going. We're going to put on the hit and run. As Pasoric on first, Larry Cox digging in. Here's the pitch from Falcone.
It's a hit and run.
It's a line single into center field. We'll move Pasoric over to third, so the hit and run pays off, and we have runners on the corner as Mazzilli fields it and tosses it back in.
On first and third.
And that'll bring Mario Mendoza to the plate. Mendoza not swinging the bat well to get a run across. We're going to try the squeeze bunt. Mariners getting desperate.
He's going to lay down a bunt.
Laying down the bunt. And he pops it out to Martinez at first. Miserable job by Mendoza laying down the bunt. That's probably poor coaching on my part, as McLaughlin is going to take a seat. We're going to bring in a pinch hitter. That's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Bring in Craig to swing the bat. Rod Craig coming in. Falcone. Runners on the corner. 1 out. Rod Craig stepping in. Hitting well during this tournament. 3 for 4. Here's the pitch to Craig. Hits it to Foley at second. Up with it. Ground out. Forces it second, but it will score Pasoric from third. So with 2 outs, the runner does come across.
2 outs, man on first.
With Craig now on first with 2 outs. And Julio Cruz stepping back to the plate. 3 for 3 for today. It's Falcone. Checks Craig at first. Here's the pitch. And he strikes out Cruz to end the inning. And we go to the 8th.
1 run, 1 hit, and 1 left on.
With the Mets leading 8-3 after Seattle did bring 1 across in the 7th.
Top of the 8th.
And I have to find me a new pitcher. We'll go with the lefty Raleigh. As Doug Flynn steps in. Here's a pitch from Shane Raleigh with 3 saves during this tournament. And he allows a single to right field as Roberts lets it drop in front of him. But that now will bring the pitcher Falcone to the plate,
No outs, man on first.
who will, in this situation, lay down the bunt. Lay down the sacrifice bunt.
He's going to lay down a bunt.
And he will move Flynn over to second as he lays down a good sacrifice bunt to third as Meyer picks it up. And the only play he had was first.
1 out, man on second.
As Flynn now is on second. As Lee Mazzilli steps back to the plate. 3 for 4 today with a single, a home run, and a double. And Mazzilli has the opportunity for the cycle as well if he could get a triple here. He hits it well. He hits a deep fly into center field. Pasoric to the warning track for out number 2.
2 outs, man on second.
So Flynn on second as Foley steps in. Foley doubled his last time up. Here's the pitch to Foley. Raleigh bearing down. It's going to be a range check on the right fielder. Roberts gets to it easily
No runs.
as it was a short fly out to right field. So 1 hit, but no runs in the top of the 8th. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The Mariners trailing 8-3. As Pete Falcone toes the rubber, brings the pitch to Jones. And he gives Rupert Jones a free pass as leadoff walk for the Mariners. Falcone is now on his B stats. He would love to complete this game, but we will see. He's got a 5-run lead as Bruce Boxkey steps in. Here's the pitch. It's hit to right field. Youngblood underneath it for out number 1. Jones remains on first. Again, to manufacture some runs, Roberts with a hit and run. Montanez on first, trying to hold Jones on. Here's the pitch from Falcone.
It's a hit and run.
Ground out to second. Roll against the speed of Jones. And he is safe. So, basically fielder's choice as Jones beats out the throw. Dan Meyer stepping in. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Here's the pitch from Falcone. Ground ball to third. Richie Hebner up with it. Over to first for the 5-3 put out. One left on. As we go to the 9th. Mets leading 8-3. Raleigh's still on the mound for the Mariners, pitching well as Henderson steps in. Henderson homered his last time up, driving in 2. Here's the pitch to Henderson. And he strikes him out. Henderson back to the dugout as Willie Montanez steps to the plate. Montanez been on twice today with a single and a base on balls. Lined out to center field his last time up. Here's the pitch from Raleigh. Montanez takes his cut, and he strikes him out as Montanez makes the walk back to the dugout as well. 2 up, 2 down here in the top of the 9th.
2 outs, bases empty.
As John Stearns steps in, he homered his last time up. Raleigh looking just to get the side out as we go to the bottom of the 9th. Here's the pitch. And he strikes him out. So Raleigh does his job. But we go to the bottom of the 9th with the Mariners in a desperate situation as Richie Hebner steps to the plate. Falcone still in. Here's the pitch from Falcone. Can he get the complete game? It's hit. Masoric hits it to third. Richie Hebner up with it. Has he booted it? He has, as it's an error that allows Masoric on first.
No outs, men on first.
So an E5 allows Masoric to be on first. This would go with a hit and run. Larry Cox singled his last time up. Here's the pitch from Falcone.
It's a hit and run.
It's hit hard. It's hit to center field, but it's a fly out to center field that will keep Masoric on first
Men on first.
as he has to rab it back to first. Ariel Mendoza to the plate. Attempted a sacrifice bunt his last time up and popped it up to first base. As Mendoza will be pinch hit for. Don't like his stats in this situation. Let's bring in a better hitter against the lefty. Let's go lefty-lefty. Simpson will come in to pinch hit. Marion Mendoza will take a seat. Falcone with the pitch. Again, they'll go hit and run. Mets at double play depth.
It's a hit and run.
It's a fly out to center field. Again, Pasoric gets on his bike and gets back to first.
2 outs, men on first.
So 2 outs. And Raleigh will not be going to the plate. Whoops, that's the wrong guy. Excuse me. As Milbourne will come in, the switch hitting Milbourne comes in. Falcone takes a deep breath, looks at Pasoric. Here's the pitch. It's a fly out to right field, and that is our game as the Mariners drop game number 2, 8-3, as home runs were flying out of the ballpark here for the Mets. As we look at the box score, home runs, Mazzilli in the 3rd, the 5th inning off of Bannister. Youngblood in the 6th. Henderson in the 7th. And Stearns in the 7th. So home runs bringing runs across, RBIs on the game. Youngblood driving in 2. Flynn with an RBI. Mazzilli with an RBI. Foley, Henderson with 2, and Stearns. So that is our game as the Mets tie this series up 1-1 on timely hitting by the Mets and taking the deep ball as Falcone will take the win, pitching the complete game, allowing just 6 hits with 3 runs. Only 1 of them earned. 2 walks, 4 strikeouts for a .90 ERA. Bannister will take the loss on 9 hits, 6 runs, all of them earned, with 2 base on balls and 6 strikeouts, allowing 2 home runs himself, as McLaughlin came in and just added to the woes as he added 2 home runs and 2 runs himself for the final 8 count of runs. So our final here from the Kingdome in Seattle will be the New York Mets 8, Seattle 3. As we'll close out this game. See, Youngblood, the MVP, had to be a toss-up between him and Falcone, but Youngblood did drive in quite a few runs as Bannister takes the loss, his first. And that's going to conclude our playing from Seattle today. Our next game we'll find ourselves at Shea Stadium in New York as this tournament continues and this best of 7 series will continue with it tied up 1-1. Hope you enjoyed the game. As if you come and watch it at a later time, I know I did.